All right, everybody. Thanks for downloading this episode. We're talking with Tony Gravely today. He's an up and coming MMA fighter out of Virginia. So thanks to Ella and Steven. They share all our stuff. They follow us on everything. So thanks for them for getting us connected to Tony. And be sure around the 13 or 15 minute mark or so, the phone kind of cuts out. We get him back on. We call him back and get him back. So stick around. It only happens once. So if you make it through that, you're golden. And to hear about Tony's career, here we go.
All right, everybody. We're sitting here talking to Tony Gravely. How's it going, Tony?
Doing great. How about you guys?
Doing pretty good. Rainy Sunday morning down here in Charlotte.
Yeah, it's actually raining here in Virginia too, so
Yeah,
it's
it's
not.
well, Tony's a little bit different than most of our previous guests. We've had nothing but football players on, and what's different from you and a football player, Tony? It's for people that don't know.
I guess because I'm an MMA fighter.
So
Guess
our
that's the difference. And
so
they're probably 3 times the size of me.
so our very first MMA fighter. For people that do know us, we do love to watch all kinds of MMA. We love it. We don't do a lot of media on it, but we love it.
We
And
usually try to do some videos on as much as we can on it.
yeah, we like it. It's pretty interesting.
Awesome, awesome.
So let's jump right in. So what got you into MMA like early off? Have you always done MMA, or what kind of led you into that?
When I first started doing anything, I started with Taekwondo. My dad taught Taekwondo for um probably I think over like 30 years. He just recently stopped teaching, but so when I was younger, I started with Taekwondo probably at the age of 4 or so. And we did that, and we always used to watch like UFC and King of the Cage and things like that when I was younger. Um, and I always wanted to I always wanted to do it. I would tell my dad that's what I was gonna do when I was older. And at that time, he didn't want me to do it. That was before it was, had as many rules, and it was pretty much just like a street fight in a cage. And I didn't really want me to do it. I always wanted to do it growing up. I started wrestling when I was in about 6th grade, and started wrestling. And once I wrestled in high school, I still wanted to, still kept up with MMA, and I always wanted to do it, but I never could. I got a wrestling scholarship to wrestle at Appalachian State, so still couldn't fight because I was still wrestling. Wrestled through college. Once I graduated from Appalachian State, I started working in Roanoke as a construction project manager, and finally started fighting. Luckily, where I live in, I moved to Radford with my wife, and she, so in that area, I ran into a guy I knew, Martin Scales. You might know Martin Scales. He actually played football at Virginia Tech, but we grew up together in Martinsville, and I just randomly ran into him. And I asked him, I was like, I heard that you were, doing MMA now. Where do you train at? Because I had no idea where to start or anything. Knew nothing about the gyms, who was good, who was legit, or anything. And he told me he told me that he trained at Tech MMA in Christiansburg. And I went there, and it's probably the best gym I could have hit. Like, it's the perfect gym. Great coaches, great practice partners. So I've been there ever since I started. So I just kind of got really lucky and hit like the best gym I could have hit. So I don't know, it's just all by chance.
So I'm assuming you wrestled in high school.
Yeah, I wrestled at Magna Vista High School in Ridgeway, Virginia. I'm originally from Martinsville. And I wrestled at Appalachian State University in Boone, North Carolina.
And which weight class did you start off in?
In high school, I was itty bitty. I wrestled 103 through 119, and in college, I wrestled 125, and now I fight at 135.
Dang. So I wrestled. I was in 145 in high school, but I wrestled 52, and I bumped up. I've actually wrestled a couple matches at 60, so I would always wrestle way heavy.
Oh
And
man.
it's 152 is a freaking that's like I've always heard in North Carolina it's one of the hardest weight classes
Uh
because that's like the weight class in North Carolina everybody kind of goes for, like the 60 pounders trying to cut to 52, but wrestling's a whole nother breed of sport, man.
It is.
I only done it at the high school level. I never took it to college or anything, but man, it's a freaking grueling sport.
It is. It's. I mean, I guess it's a good thing though. It's a good experience. Once you've done something like that tough, anything else just kind of you kind of that's kind of like the bar setter for anything else that you do, and it's like, oh, well, if I've done this, I can do that, type thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we have our friend Steven, who was a mutual friend of Tony's and ours, helped set all this up, and he was telling us about some of your like really good accomplishments in wrestling in high school, and we just want to know if you want to talk about that a little bit.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, Steven, actually, we and Steven went to high school together. He's coming out matches, and he and a couple other buddies would be screaming really loud and hype it up pretty good. But in high school, I wrestled. I I won two state championships, which is pretty cool because our school is not huge in wrestling. We had never had a state champion. I was the first, and I'm still the only state champion for Magna Vista, which that's a pretty cool accomplishment. I think it's cool to be. They've got my picture on the wall and everything, so they made like a big deal out of it. But I wrestled. I won two state championships in high school. Had two undefeated seasons.
Dang.
And over the summer, I wrestled in a couple of national tournaments, and All American 3 times. So to All American in wrestling, you have to finish top 8 in your weight class, and finish top 8 3 times. They got 7th one time, 3rd one time, and 1st one time. So there's all kinds of like national tournaments over the summer. So 3 of those NHSC Opens, All American 3 times, and then went off to college, and Appalachian State is Division 1. It's in Southern Conference. So my freshman year, I didn't redshirt. I was true freshman, and I won my conference and made to NCAA tournament and went 1-2, and made to NCAA tournament twice out of my whole wrestling career.
What? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm finished.
What? In high school, what weight classes did you win states at?
I won at 103 and 112.
And what year? Like senior, sophomore?
I won my sophomore and my junior year, and I actually lost my senior year in overtime to a guy that I had beat before. So it hurt pretty bad.
Gosh.
Had a bunch of people come, like a lot of the seniors that were a lot of people in my class. They came and they had like a big section for me, and I lost, and that hurt pretty bad.
What?
To lose in front of those people.
How big was your high school? Like, was it like 1A, 2A, 3A?
We were 2A.
2A.
So
Okay.
like now the schools are completely different in Virginia now. They have all the way up to 6A, which is
What?
crazy because Virginia is not huge. It's pretty small. So there's a 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A, 6A. So there are 6 different state champions in each weight class now,
Holy
which
crap.
is ridiculous because it waters down the competition, and it kind of makes being a state champion not as cool, not mean as much because you got so many of them.
Dang.
But,
Yeah, it kind of takes away some of the prestige of it, I think.
It does. I went to my cousin wrestle, and I went to watch him wrestle in state. He got 2nd place. Went to watch him, and they had all the mats lined up, and they have all of them going on at one time. So 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A are all in the same building at the Salem Civic Center, and all those matches were going on at once. So it was 4 state championship matches. So it kind of took all the shine off the wrestlers. It's almost like you're wrestling just a normal tournament.
Yeah.
Because usually it's just a one mat or 2 mats or whatever going on where, all the attention's on whoever's wrestling for a state title. But you've got 4 going on, and it's almost like it's, you miss out on some people when you,
God.
can't watch 4 matches at once.
That's great. I mean, North Carolina we only go to 4A, and so we hold our states at the Greensboro Coliseum, and they have 8 mats set up for states at a time. There's 8 matches going on at a time, and it is a freaking madhouse in there.
Is it like distracting when you're wrestling and then there's like multiple matches around you, or you just kind of phase that out, or?
You said, is it distracting to have multiple matches?
Yeah, like if you're wrestling and then you see like, I mean, I'm sure you're not looking at it, but in the like in your peripheral vision, can you like, is it kind of distracting knowing there's like a ton of other matches around you?
No, not really. I mean, once you like hit the mat, it's like you got tunnel vision. You're not really worried about anything but what's going on. So it really doesn't make a difference how many mats are going on. But I guess like it's different when you the crowd is a bit different, as far as the mats go. But to know like for example, like the NCAA tournament, there are I think there are 8 mats at NCAA tournament, but there's like 50,000 people,
Yeah.
so it's a lot more people. So that kind of makes a difference, being nervous and things like that.
Yeah, it's at the I don't know how it is up there, but at Greensboro Coliseum when they hold states down here, there's like it's weird because like no one really comes because they do it in the middle of the day, in the middle of the week down here. They do it like
That's crazy.
they do it like Thursday and Friday, and they start at like 8 in the morning, and it goes to like 4 in the afternoon. They take the kids are excused. Those kids are excused from classes those 2 days down here that's for high school, and they're completely excused from class, and like it doesn't count towards them or against them, and it's weird because they don't really sell a lot of tickets. I'm like, why don't y'all do this on like Saturday and Sunday? Like
I know.
that's like kind of crazy. Because so in North Carolina, the crowd there's no crowd. It's like your parents maybe they might have took off work, but
That's crazy because that's like the most important thing of a high school career.
yeah,
Your state tournament.
that's crazy. I mean, they wouldn't hold a state championship football game at lunchtime on a Tuesday. So I mean, why in the world? Why in the world?
And
You
they
gotta
wouldn't
do
have
that?
6 of them around going at the same
Yeah,
time.
it's like in North Carolina, man, they don't go a lot out for wrestling. But I mean, I know that changes the further north you go. So,
Yep. Virginia is about the same way. I mean, we aren't a when I was younger. Like I never be one of those guys that's like, well, back in the day, such and such.
oh, you still there? Tony?
Hello?
Okay, there we go. I
Okay,
think
yeah, it was just breaking up a little bit.
yeah, I think we broke up. If you could repeat that for us one time.
I was saying that
Oh.
I always make fun of I never do it. I was just like, well, back in my day, such and such. But I'm always like, yeah, back when we were old, um, they used
It's breaking up again.
It might just take a minute for the connection to get a little bit better.
Yeah, I think our connection's going bad just a little bit.
to.
You there now?
Hello?
Well, this has never happened, guys. We don't know what to do in this scenario. Well, maybe we should. Okay, we're gonna hang up and call him back and see if that works, guys. So stick with us just a second.
Yeah, sorry about that, everybody. We haven't had that happen before.
We've never had this happen. We're doing this on the fly. So
We're just gonna call him right back.
let's see. Y'all are experiencing this with us for the first time.
Our audience retention rate is gonna go down on this one.
Yeah. Well, guys, we don't really know what to do in this scenario. Well, if you're experiencing this with us, I wish you could be in the room to feel how uncomfortable it is.
I'm sure they can tell.
Because this is very, very uncomfortable.
Your call has been forwarded.
Okay, well,
I think he might be driving or something.
yeah, we think he might be driving down the road. And, here we go. We got him coming back in. Here we go. Tony, you there?
Yes. Hello.
All right, there we go.
Sorry,
We're back up and running, guys.
We had
I'm
that
sorry,
connection.
man. I don't know what's going on. It says I've got great signal, so I don't know what's going on.
All right, well, we're back up and running, and I can't even remember what we were talking about at this point.
I think he was. I think We were
I
just
know it was
getting.
wrestling.
We know it was wrestling for sure, guys. We got that one. We know it's wrestling.
I think it was about the state title,
How it's weird
how
that
the arena goes.
yeah, how the arena's set up, and we can. What was it like? Since that kind of wasted a little bit of our time. What was it like moving from high school to college wrestling? Like, what was the biggest difference maybe?
The biggest difference is, in high school, you could have anywhere from you could have a really tough match, or you could have somebody that just started, and the match might last 10 seconds. So in college, you're already so it's almost like every match is just as tough as like a state final, pretty much. So everybody, has they're all big fish into a big pond, So there's really no one that's not very good in college wrestling.
It's more weeded out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the biggest difference is like, in high school you can get away with bad like moves that are low percentage, but in college it's all about the basics, and it's people are doing the basics all the time, and they're really good at the basics. So all the matches, they seem a little more boring because it's closer, but it's actually really a lot more strategic. And the biggest difference is like the physicality. Like, once you get in college, you're going against men now. There's no more. You're not going against high school boys anymore. So you may be a freshman. Like I was a true freshman. I went against people that were redshirt seniors or redshirt juniors. They're 4 years ahead of me, so they're like grown men competing against me, and I'm like I was 17 when I first started college. So,
17.
so I was a boy. Yeah, I started school a little early, so I turned 18 at the beginning of a college year, but when I first started, I was 17. So I'm facing grown men.
You're facing like 20-year-olds.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the biggest difference is the physicality. It's a lot more physical, and just facing mature people that and they take it serious too. Aren't many people in college wrestling teams that just don't care, and they don't.
Yeah.
They're just out there just to be out there, So
I was sitting there thinking to myself, like I remember on my high school team in Mount Pleasant. So I wrestled at Mount Pleasant High School in Mount Pleasant, North Carolina, and it's a small school, but we're bad at everything, literally except wrestling. Like we won states like 12 or 15 times, some crazy astronomical number like that. But
good day.
So I was thinking as you were saying that, it was kind of like there's a lot of guys I remember on my team who were just doing it, for off season of football, or like, if somebody wouldn't make like the basketball team, they'd be doing it. But I'm sitting here thinking, I literally never even thought about that. In college, it's like those guys are there to wrestle.
Yeah,
they're not there to do. They're not there to do. Oh, this is my off-season sport. No, no off-season.
Exactly.
Like, I've never even thought about that. That's a really good point.
It's like it's pretty much it's your job. You get paid by scholarship to do this, so it's pretty much like a job, a real job.
Man, that's wild. I've never even. So what were your college accomplishments again?
I won my conference twice, and made the NCAA tournament. So Southern Conference is a little smaller than like Big Ten and stuff like that. So you actually have to win your conference. You have to finish first place in order to qualify for the NCAA tournament, unless you get a wild card. So and other like conferences like the Big Ten and stuff, they're all packed with big schools. So, you could maybe like top 4, I'm not exactly sure, but maybe like top 4, top 5 all automatically qualify. So if you like place, you automatically qualify. But for Southern Conference, you have to win or get a wild card. So let's say somebody was ranked the whole year and they just lost in the finals, then they would probably get a wild card, which will put them into the NCAA tournament. So I won my conference twice, qualified for the NCAA tournament. I never All-American. I finished. I wrestled. I made it to the second day out of 3 days of NCAA. So never got on the podium, but it was cool just being a part of like that big tournament and getting experience and getting to go. And we actually my last year wrestling, I didn't wrestle my senior year. I wrestled my junior, my freshman through junior year. And actually, my junior year, I got to watch one of my really close friends, Austin Trotman. He All American and got third place. So it was like so cool getting a chance to like watch him do that. You know, it was almost like even though I didn't do it, I felt it for him.
Yeah.
You know, like to watch him. You know, it was his senior year. He had never placed. He and another one of my teammates, Kyle Blevins, they both placed third and fourth. So to watch those two, you know, through their whole college career try to accomplish this, and then all of a sudden they do it their senior year, it was almost like a win for me in a way, you know?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool to see your own team.
That's a really cool payoff to see too.
Yeah.
So, and you said, you said you went to be a construction project manager, right?
Yes.
And were you like showing up to work every day and like having MMA fights, like kind of after you got in the gym for a while? Obviously, I mean, I know you didn't show up and just have a fight, but like, were people like, did you ever come to work all banged up or anything whenever you did it?
I'm sure I came in with like a busted lip or a bloody eye. I mean, not a bloody eye, like a black eye. But so like I started working, and I didn't wrestle my senior year of college. I just kind of got to a point to where I lost, like, wasn't fun anymore. And I'm one of those people where it's almost like all or nothing for me. I couldn't, like I said, I couldn't just be on the team.
Yeah.
And just do it, you know, like I wanted to, if I was doing it, I wanted to really commit to doing it. And I got to the point to where my senior year, you're like, man, in a year, I'm going to be out in the real world. And I need to really focus on what I'm going to do, like my career and things like that. So,
and what was your degree during this time?
Building sciences.
Okay.
With the concentration in construction management.
Okay, cool.
And then I'm minoring in business. So, you know, and then so it got to the point to where I'm like, I really need to focus on this. So, senior year, I didn't wrestle. I got a job in Roanoke, and within that time in Roanoke is when I met the guy I knew, and he told me where the gym was. So I showed up. I always want to do it. At this point, I'm like out of shape. And I'm like 20 pounds heavier than what I was when I wrestled, you know. And I'm short, so like my face is blown out, my stomach's round a little bit, you know. So I started doing it, and while I was working, so I would work, I'd go into work. As soon as I got out of work, I'd drive back straight to the gym, and I'd be at the gym until like 8:30 or 9, and then I'd go home, and it's the same thing over and over. So I had 7 amateur fights. And then beginning of 2000, well, the end of 2015, I decided. The beginning of 2016, I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna quit my job and fight full time, because this is what I want to do. Like, I knew that construction isn't really something that fit me well. I just can't stand like sitting at a desk and, you know, doing things like that. I've always been super active, so I decided that that's what I wanted to do for a living. And I talked to my wife, and she was really supportive. And she was like, yeah, if you think, you know, I believe you can do it. If you believe you can do it, then go ahead and do it. So I quit my job, and ever since the beginning of 2016, I've been fighting full time. So I train about, I guess, depending on the day, usually like 5 to 8 hours a day. 5 to 8 hours a day, and then I teach our kids grappling and wrestling, and also do like private workouts with people that either they want to do it for self-defense, or they just, you know, can't make time to come in like one of our fitness classes. So that's pretty much what I do at the gym the majority of the time now.
Wow, that's
a way to keep busy for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I would never ask a specific on this, but like, does amateur pay? Like when you do amateur fights, I've always wondered that.
No, amateurs don't pay. That's like the only difference between, well, other than the skill level.
Yeah.
So I guess I would, so like amateur, you don't get paid anything. It's almost like you can look at it. I looked at it as like an internship, the way I looked at it, because I knew I wanted to fight as a pro, and I knew that's what I wanted to do. So kind of looked at being an amateur fighter as like being an intern in a way. And then once I turned pro, I'm now, fighting for real.
How do you
But
I just want to know like how exactly do you like transfer and like from amateur to pro kind of.
so like every state has different requirements. Um, re, like ideally, it should be on the person. The person should want to fight fights and get experience and know like, okay, well, I've done really good as an amateur. I want to turn pro now. But some people, I've seen people there's really a thin line. Some people, I've seen people that are pros that shouldn't be pros. Like they should have had a lot more amateur fights before they turned pro. But it all depends on the state. Virginia is kind of lenient on things like that, but states like New Jersey and Pennsylvania, they're really strict on things like that. I've seen people that are from Virginia and they had didn't have a ton of fights and they turned pro and they try to fight in Pennsylvania and their commissioner won't allow it because they don't think that they're capable, like ready to do that.
Qualified.
Yeah, because Pennsylvania, they're a lot more strict. And then as you go up north, just like wrestling, the fighting gets tougher. People take it more serious. They're more gyms, they're bigger gyms. People take it more serious than down south. So they're really strict up north on things like that. But it should be, the way I saw it is, I had 7 fights, so I had like a rough in my mind. I was thinking like maybe like 6 to 8 fights, and then I want to turn pro. As long as I knew that, I'm doing well against these guys. If I'd had 7 fights and I lost them all, or they were all really close or something, I'm like, yeah, I don't need to. I need to keep doing this a little longer before I take that step.
You were still working while you're doing your amateur fights, right?
Yes, I worked. I was working actually until my 3rd pro fight.
Oh, wow.
So I I fought. I actually only had an amateur career for 1 year. So I fought as an amateur for a year, and I guess the thing that made me like make it go faster, the process, was wrestling helped out a ton. And like I said, when I commit to something, I fully commit to something. So I can't halfway do something. So like I would go in the gym and I would take it serious. I know that I'm an amateur, but it's something that I knew I was an amateur, and I knew it was something that I really wanted to do. So I took it really serious, and it made me go a lot faster than most other people. So as an amateur, I got 7 fights in a year, and then I fought three pro fights. And then that's when I was like, well, if I can do this well, only being able to train like, 3 hours a day or 2 hours, depending on the day, then if I can like fully commit to this, I could do, there's no limit to what I could do. So I just made the choice and I went at it 100%.
Wow. That's 7 fights. I'm assuming.
That's a quick turnaround on all of
Yeah,
those.
7 fights in a year. I'm assuming your fights didn't last very long.
Some didn't. Some, I mean, it depends. So, but some didn't. Either way, like I was lucky to not take a lot of damage, and I still haven't. I've been very fortunate. Like I've only, the worst thing I've ever gotten is a busted lip and a black eye. So, I've been pretty fortunate as to taking damage, which wrestling helps out a lot. If you take somebody down and you're on top of somebody, there's only but so much they can do to you to hurt you when you're on top of them, striking wise,
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody's gonna out wrestle you.
Well, yeah, that's the goal. But I don't necessarily go out looking to wrestle people. It's a lot of times it's just instinct. Like I've done it so much. Once you close the distance a certain amount and get really close and they're standing straight up, it's so hard for me not to take them down.
Yeah, it's instinct.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, what is it other than wrestling? What's some big things you like about MMA? Like, what's some of your biggest what do you enjoy the most in a day-to-day, I guess, MMA career? As crazy as that sounds, I got asked somebody an MMA career question.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely a struggle. It's a lot like wrestling. You come in there and there are no easy days. And sometimes I ask myself like, man, why did I choose this? Because I'm always sore, and I'm always tired, but it's something that I don't know. You just kind of, I think people are just born to do different things, and they're born with different mindsets and different, driven to do different things. And although it's really hard, I don't mind it because I enjoy it. So, my favorite thing about actually fighting itself is, I love the fact that, you know, above all the skill sets and all the physical things, when you get in the cage and once the rounds go on and you get, where both you guys are like super tired, it's a battle of who has the stronger will, and it's who's gonna give up first. And I like my most favorite thing is being in a fight, and as you go on, the person just like slowly diminishes and they just quit on you. And that's like one of my favorite things about fighting is like making people like just give up. Like it
Yeah.
sounds weird, but it's like it's a really cool feeling to like know that you are capable of overpowering someone else's will.
Well, yeah, that's like a
That's a satisfying kind of
yeah,
process.
and as a wrestler, coming from someone who's wrestled, very, very, very few people have better cardio than wrestlers. Like I don't think
Yeah.
I'd be willing to say they have some of the best cardio on planet Earth. So if you're getting in there with a guy who's like mainly a striker, you're gonna outlast him all day long, every day of the week.
Yep. I think so too. I mean, that's where that's where I got my work ethic, and that's why I think my cardio and my mindset is my biggest attribute to fighting. Like that's what I'm like above all else, above like even my wrestling. I think that those two things are what are the reason why I am able to do so well, is because I refuse to give up, and I just keep pushing and pushing and pushing until they give up. And it's like, and I've gotten that from wrestling. Like wrestling taught me like that's how it helps you get through day to day
Yeah.
things as far as that goes. So um, that's my favorite thing about fighting. Other than the feeling of winning, which is great. Like once you've like, and it sounds barbaric kind of, but it's a fight. Like when you've like I guess knocked someone out or like you made someone submit, it's like this. You get this almost sense of like immortality in a way, where you just feel like you're on top of the world for like a split second,
Yeah.
and then
I was watching your. It's crazy because I was watching your fight this morning with Dylan Kayla, or I don't know how to say his last name correctly, but
I think it's Dylan Cal. He's actually he wrestled in North Carolina.
oh, did he really?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
I was looking at
I'm
stuff.
not sure what school he went to, but and I'm not sure what year you graduated, but it might have been around the same time
I'm
as you. I'm not sure.
I graduated 2014, so I think he might be probably a little bit older than me. But
Okay.
but I was watching, and when you submitted him, like when you get up and you're running around, I couldn't imagine. Like that's almost like when you win a wrestling match. Like I can relate so much to like, pinning somebody or something. You get up and you're just screaming, and
Uh-huh.
that you're right. That feeling's the best feeling on planet Earth. It's like I just outperformed another human one on
I
one,
know.
toe to toe. I did better than you one on one. So
Exactly.
it's a great feeling. It's crazy.
Oh, and one thing I wanted to ask you, what's like your training process kind of like? I mean, I know you don't want to give away the whole recipe, but we kind of just want to hear a little bit of it.
As far as my training goes, I mean it's actually not anything too special. It's just constant being persistent with the things that I do. Like so every morning, depending on the day, I'll come in and some days before I do any cardio or anything, I work with my coach. We do drills. We do like mitt drills, footwork drills, head movement. So our gym is predominantly a striking gym, which is great for me because I started out with wrestling. So we do I do more stand up than anything. I don't even wrestle much in practice. It just because I mean we have really good wrestlers, but we're mostly a striking gym. So I do a lot of striking drills, and then at 9:30 we do what's called combat fitness, which is it's similar to CrossFit, but it's not CrossFit. It's like almost like in wrestling how you do a lot of full body workouts with like it could either be free weight, we do weights, it's just full body workout. And I think it's like the best, I would say that that's the best thing you could do fitness wise. We lift weights, but I don't lift a lot. I'm not actually not a fan of lifting weights. I guess that's why I'm not like super huge, you know. But but I love cardio stuff, so I do combat fit. Then after that, I recover a little bit, hit the heavy bag, I jump rope for about 40 minutes or so, and I actually just started not too long. Well, actually, almost a year ago. My wife, she works at a preschool, and I used to go and I used to play with the kids because I'm a big kid myself. So my free time, I go play with the kids and stuff. And the women there were like, you should substitute here. The kids love you. So I started substituting, and I love it. Like the kids getting to play with them and things like that. So I started doing that. So within my day, I have like a 2-3 hour window where, there's nobody's at the gym, and I'm just kind of hanging out, waiting for the next session. So I go there, I play with the kids, run around. That's almost like extra cardio
Yeah,
sometimes.
Pretty
I was about to
much.
So
say
yeah,
you could probably actually, as crazy as it sounds, you could probably actually learn a lot about movement and stuff like that. As crazy as that
yeah, like
sounds, I mean,
you're exactly right.
yeah,
I run around so much, like with the kids, like I'm always playing tag, and it's like I don't think they understand how to play tag. They think that, when you tag them, they're it, but it's like 10 different games of tag on them. Because if they're 10 kids, they all want to be it, and they all want you to tag them. So it's like 10 games of tag. So I tag one, and then I got individually tag the other. But
yeah. That's
anyway, it's extra cardio. So, but I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. But once I leave there, I come back to the gym. Usually meet my coach there. We have like team training at 4, so not everybody at the gym's able to train full time like I am. So they usually, like when they get off work or so, come back in later on. We'll do team training. We do drills. We spar, um, wrestle, grapple, whatever the day is that our coach wants us to do. Then we actually start. Then we actually have classes later on in the day where we do jujitsu or kickboxing, whatever the classes are. So we do team training. Then I do the actual classes, unless I'm teaching our kids classes, which I teach our kids jujitsu and wrestling. Um, so that's pretty much it. The entire day, I'm pretty much at the gym. And if I'm not at the gym until like 8 o'clock, and in between that time, I'm at the daycare playing with the kids, and then I'm back at the gym.
pretty busy day.
Busy man.
Yeah.
Extremely busy day. What's a meal plan like? Do you have a pretty strict diet? Like if you know you're coming up soon, or is it looser? Like when you know you're not fighting or something like that?
I usually eat and train the same all the time
Yeah.
for the
Okay.
most part, just because I never know when a fight's gonna come up, and that's why I'm able to fight so often, is because I'm always ready for a fight.
Stay ready.
So that's why let's see, I think I've had 16 fights in 2 years, I think.
Shoo.
So I'm able to do that because I'm always, like I said, I'm fully committed to this, and there's no reason why I shouldn't be in shape because this is all I do. So,
Yeah, I mean that's a good
um,
point. Yeah.
but as far as my meal goes, I eat pretty healthy anyway. I eat a lot of fruits. I love yogurt. Eat a lot of chicken and stuff. But but I don't have to cut a lot of weight, so a lot of times I kind of eat normal. Like normal meaning like just whatever I would eat, whatever anybody would eat. But I don't eat like fried foods. Um, I don't eat a lot of fast foods and stuff. But I don't really worry about what I eat too much because I know that I burn so many calories a day that it kind of doesn't matter what I do eat. But I don't put a lot of I don't drink sodas. I don't eat greasy foods and stuff like that. And I don't cut a lot of weight, so I don't really have to worry about what I eat.
A lot of Gatorade, a lot of water.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
A lot of Gatorade, and a lot of water. Because if you don't, you're
Yeah,
practicing. In practice, you'll be.
No kill over.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
it's not pretty.
Cramping up and all that stuff too. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it in living color. It's not fun.
Yeah.
But so any I do you have a fight coming up, or is it?
I was scheduled to fight February 17th.
Yeah, that's what I was looking here, but I'm seeing something
I
else.
think I saw
Yeah,
something where your opponent canceled. I think, right?
yeah. I was originally scheduled to fight February 17th for the King of the Cage title for my weight class, which King of the Cage, which was really I was really excited about because King of the Cage has been around for a long time, and they kind of started right when UFC first began, like a couple years later. So they've been around for a long time. So me and my dad used to watch them when I was little. Like we've got like the VHS tapes of of um of King of the Cage, and a lot of people that are UFC Hall of Famers and stuff have fought for King of the Cage. So it was like a really big opportunity, and I was super excited. And then I found out, I guess it was like last week or so, that my opponent, I'm not, I'm not sure why, but I guess he on his side, the fight got canceled. I don't know for sure the details. I can't really speak on. They don't necessarily let us know a ton. They don't say, oh, well, he didn't, blah blah blah. But I I honestly am not sure why, but I was supposed to fight this guy not too long ago, and something similar happened. So I'm honestly I don't know. I don't know why it didn't happen, but it's not happening.
And
So
that's Patrick Mix, is that right?
yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm
So
looking at their website right now.
MMA is like the one thing that's like you kind of depend on your opponent too. Like if one
yeah,
doesn't fight, nobody fights, kind of thing.
yeah, exactly. So I mean, and you get your mindset, and you train, and you look forward to this date, even though you look forward to this date, and then it doesn't happen. And it's like, man, because you kind of like once you have a fight, someone's like all your focus, everything you focus on is related to this one specific date and event, and it goes away, and it's like, man, that sucks really bad.
Yeah, all
But
that preparation.
yeah, but it happens. I mean, I like I said, I train the same regardless. So only thing changes is just who you're fighting. So I know something will come up. I'll just keep on doing the same thing, and hopefully something pops up, and then I'll have another one.
Oh yeah, it's the fight game's and the cool thing about the fight game is it's quick. Like once you get announced, like it can be such a quick process. Like
Yep.
they could call you in 12 days and you could have a fight. I mean, they could be like, you want to fight in 12 days? I mean, it's super super quick. It doesn't take a long time to get something. Usually it doesn't take a long time to get something set up.
Yeah. So I'm hoping, keep my fingers crossed, hoping that something does come up pretty quick.
Yeah, well, hopefully get in there and win a title and then move on to the UFC because we want to be able
That'd be
to.
great.
Yeah,
That's the goal right there.
I saw where everybody was campaigning to get you on the card last night in Charlotte.
Yeah, I was hoping so bad. That would have been the perfect debut for me.
Oh, perfect.
Um,
Yeah.
Usually when I've only fought in this like or close to home. Well, Charlotte's close to home. It's like 2 hours from where I live. So all of my other fights have been Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Massachusetts, like everywhere up north. And I've only fought like down south, like maybe like 4 out of my 16 pro fights. And whenever I fight in North Carolina, like over like 100 people come, and it's like super cool to have like all these people there cheering for you. So like everybody I know, like my family. um Charlotte's close to App, so people I wrestle with in college, high school, all that, they get to come. So I was really really hoping that happened, but I mean, hopefully they'll come back soon, and next time they come back I'll be able to, or hopefully I'm on the card before they
Yeah.
even come back.
Yeah. Well, I was actually before we got started, I was checking some stuff out. And speaking of you fighting up north, I don't know if you know this. I'm sure you do know this, but you're ranked fourth in the whole Northeast in the 135-pound division,
uh
and second in Pennsylvania and second in New Jersey overall.
Yeah, I seen that. It's funny. My mom keeps up with stuff like that like all the time. So the second it changes, she's like, "Did you see where you were ranked such and such in the state and stuff like that?" So she keeps up with all that stuff
That's
like
pretty
pretty
good. I mean, that's pretty
pretty.
good. That's pretty good ranking. I
That's a
mean,
good way to get the call for sure.
second in two states and fourth overall in the whole Northeast in your division. I mean, that's pretty solid.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And I saw like somebody told me about this website. It's called like Fighter Matrix. And what they do is they take people, um, they take like all the fighters in each weight class, like all over the world, and then they rank them. And so I think, if last time I checked, it was a while ago. Um, I think for my weight class, I'm ranked like 80th in the world or something like that.
I'll tell you right now.
If
I'm pulling it up right now.
all right,
Let's see.
That is one good way to like get your name out there, and that kind of helps you get a call. At maybe getting your name out there with the internet and all that stuff.
yeah, it may help out a lot. And then I know social media too. So I'm not really huge on social media. I need to be like, I need to get on it more because that's how a lot of people are able to like. That's how you're able to have some leverage when it comes to big promotions because they're all about ticket sales. So
Oh
if you
yeah,
can show
no
that
kidding.
you have a huge following, then that helps out a lot too.
And do you have a Twitter page? Because I was looking and I saw one page that kind of looked like yours, but I didn't know if it was like officially yours or not or whatever.
I do, yeah. I have one. Tony Gravely 135.
Yeah, that was the one.
It's I don't do a lot of tweets. I don't do a lot of anything really on social media. I post about fights, and then most of the time the only tweets I have are just where I link it from my Instagram where I post something. But I need to get on that.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we are speaking with the number 82 ranked 135-pound MMA fighter on planet Earth.
That's pretty cool right there.
That is 82nd ranked in the world.
And we'll,
in the bantamweight
we got a
division.
Twitter, and we're about to be putting that up, like what he just said. So.
Yeah, that's going to be our title of our tweet here in about 3 or 4 hours.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So
we got a
Hopefully,
decent buzz on there.
Hopefully, next time you speak to me, if you speak to me again in like whatever amount of time, hopefully I'm further up, and before you
In the
know it,
UFC.
hopefully I'm number one. So
hopefully
that's the goal.
fight TJ Dillashaw.
Yeah, I know it's like when I first started, it seemed like this was like a crazy goal to be like, to say I want to fight in the UFC and I want to be like the world champion. But like as the years go on, it gets closer and closer and closer, and
Yeah.
it's like so crazy to think like.
And if you put your
Yeah.
mind to it, anything's possible. I mean,
Exactly, you're exactly right.
And all it takes
that's
is
what I
one
do.
person. Like one person seeing you like in a UFC office setting or something, and they're like, "Oh, I kind of like him. Let's bring him in or give him a call or whatever."
Yeah.
dang.
Yeah.
Well,
So
is there any fighters you like to watch right now, currently in the UFC or Bellator or anything like that?
well, I mean, I watch pretty much all the events, UFC and Bellator. So you're asking like my favorite fighters?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Who's your favorite fighter? Favorite MMA fighter right now in the world? Who would that be?
So my all-time favorite has always been George St. Pierre.
Oh yeah.
I like him. I like not only that he's a really good fighter and he's a great athlete, but he's like always really laid back and is a really humble guy. And he doesn't trash talk. He doesn't buy in all the crazy stuff. So above all, that's who is like my all-time favorite. But the first one of my other all-time favorites, which this is like on the completely different side of the spectrum, is Tito Ortiz. Used to be one of my like favorite fighters. He's like completely different from George St. Pierre.
Yeah, he's the opposite side of the spectrum on that one for sure.
Yeah, and now he's older now. I think he retired.
I think he's
But,
in Bellator right now.
Yeah, he fought in Bellator. I'm not sure if he's still fighting or if his fight against Chael Sonnen was the very last one he's gonna have.
Yeah, I remember
I'm
he
not
had
sure.
that fight. Yeah, I remember the promos on that one were pretty funny.
Him and Chael Sonnen, they're talking junk to each other.
Yeah, he was
It's like
fake sleeping or whatever.
yeah.
Chael Sonnen just won last weekend.
He fought.
Yeah, he beat Rampage.
He beat Rampage in Bellator. Was it Bellator? Yeah, it was
Yeah, it
Bellator.
was.
Yeah, it was Bellator.
It was the
They
same
have
night.
like a heavyweight Grand Prix going on.
Yeah, it's the
Where
same.
they-
It's the same night Stipe and
Francis.
Ngannou fought.
Yep.
And I was actually meaning to bring that up earlier with about that heavyweight bout. Like people, a long time ago, I think it was maybe around the time he cut out when you're talking about cardio. Like I think that fight right there. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I watched it.
I
I watched it live.
I think that fight proves how important. I think cardio is the most important thing when it comes to fighting, and I think that fight proves it. Like you can be big, you can be strong, you can be powerful and all this stuff, but if you can't last, out of a round or two, I think that fight right there lays it out. If you haven't seen that fight, check it out. How important cardio is, and I think when you were talking about you focus a lot on cardio, that fight backs it up right there. How important it really is.
Absolutely. It didn't matter like how great you are, like how talented you are as an
Yeah.
athlete or skills. If you can't, when all that gets thrown out the window, after the first 2 rounds, if you don't have anything else to back that up, then cardio is your base to everything. So if you have no cardio and all you have are these skill sets, once those skill sets are out the window, you've got nothing.
Yeah, because Francis is I mean, he's a great striker. He's
Hmm.
extremely good, but if you're not, if you can't last more than 10 minutes or 8 minutes or 5 even, I mean,
The first 2 minutes, it looked like he could win because he came in there with that flurry at the beginning. But after that, after
Stipe just outlasted him. So you
after he
focusing on
weathered the storm, it was over.
yeah, so you focusing on cardio, that's what takes guys really far in life. I think cardio. I think that's where some of the best fighters in the world.
The wrestling too, because a wrestler can learn how to strike pretty good, but I feel like people who are pure strikers, they can't learn how to wrestle as good
Yeah,
as.
exactly. I've noticed that too. Wrestling's just, it takes a long time to develop your entire body to react a certain way. So punches are different. Like striking. Yeah, there are also strikers that are amazing strikers that maybe wrestlers can't get to that level, or it's hard to get to that level. But it's a lot harder to get to an amazing wrestler level than an amazing striker level.
Yeah.
So what they have to do is land. If you're able to hit somebody, it doesn't matter how great it is. If you can hit them in the right spot with the right amount of power, doesn't matter what it is, they're going to sleep.
You can't train your chin. You just can't
Exactly.
do it. Yeah,
Exactly.
there's no training your chin. It's just if you get hit right, you're going out, lights out.
Exactly.
Well, man, we don't want to hold your Sunday up too much.
Yeah, we know you got some training to do.
We've been going almost an hour here, so we don't want to hold you up too
half
long.
of it's probably me. I guess my phone breaking up. And having
Well, man, like I said, we don't want to hold you up too long. We really appreciate you taking this time out of your day. It means the world to be able to talk to these guys, the guys that normally we couldn't talk to. So, thanks a lot for getting in touch with us, and thanks to Steven again for
Steven and Ella.
Steven and Ella for setting it up. We appreciate those guys.
Thank you guys for having me.
All right, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
We're gonna try to get this out there.
All right, guys, and that's our talk with Tony Gravely. It was a pretty good one. I enjoyed that one. It was a little long, but like we said, that one moment where it cut out kind of made it last a little longer than we planned on.
Yeah, it was. Overall, I thought it went really great. I thought.
Yeah, it was very interesting to hear something other than football.
Yeah, we wanted to shake it up a little bit, and we would like to have some more MMA guys on.
Oh, no doubt. That I hope we do. That's interesting. I feel like everybody's football career, it's kind of going to have to go one way almost. I don't want to say one way, but, you do the college or the pro thing.
There's
MMA,
a clear
there's
path for MMA or for football.
MMA, there's a lot of avenues you can get there.
Yeah.
There's a ton of them. You could be a amateur boxer and come up and like it, or like he was a amateur wrestler, a college wrestler. So some guys come from pro wrestling and do it. It happens. So
Yeah.
it's an interesting career path, but we appreciate everybody listening. Be sure to download the other episodes. Like we said, this is our only one with MMA, but our other ones are with football players, and most of them are pro. If not, they're going to go pro soon. So check those out. Let us know what you think. Leave us a review, and we'll see you next time.